paid for by friends of Steve Thorne.
This is an encore broadcast of The Jeff Michaels Show.
Welcome to The Jeff Michaels Show, where we ask poignant questions, important questions, thought-provoking questions, like what did Donald Trump and the American people both have in common after this last election cycle? They both dodged a bullet. And now, here's Jeff Michaels.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome, one and all. It's Jeff Michaels and The Jeff Michaels Show for Saturday, March 8th, 2025. All brought to you over the airwaves and streaming. They aren't also waves, are they? What are they then? Streaming what's? Well, whatever they are, it's 1410 WRMN, the talk of the Fox Valley. This last week's news cycle was basically dominated by two stories. The Ukraine war and Zelensky's dust up with Trump, quickly then put aside momentarily by the president's State of the Union speech light and the Democrat response thereto during and after. Now, I'm not talking about the official Democrat response, which was this time delivered by New Michigan Senator Elissa Slotkin, or is it Elise? I have an aunt and a cousin with each name, so I get them confused all the time. Anyway, talking about the other party's response to the State of the Union speech, this year it's the Democrats making that other response. I just think it's kind of stupid. Never understood what it was supposed to accomplish. And it's always an up-and-comer. And I can't say I ever remember that up-and-comer ever upping and coming much further than they did or than they were when they gave their response to the State of the Union speech. In fact, I have a bigger problem with the fact that they send them the speech ahead of time. I mean, if you're an elected official, a high office official like senator, governor, congressman, president, aren't you supposed to be able to respond to things on the fly? Why even do it then? Might as well send it to them a week ahead of time. I mean, why just a day? What I'm going to focus on in particular are the reactions, a few reactions by some of the leaders, I guess you could say the leaders of today's Democrat Party, like Elizabeth Warren and Senator Adam Schiff. These are all off-the-cuff comments made usually into their cell phones. You think Kamala made word salads? Are the reactions, responses, and so on of some of the supposed leaders of the Democrat Party today? I know they really don't have one. They don't have one. The ones that could possibly be the closest to falling those slots right now. Better hear some of their responses. Kamala was the pioneer. She was the original chef, no doubt about that. They are taking it to a whole new level because they have nothing to say but bad Trump. Still all they got? I don't think they're going to make too much headway. That's just me. All the supposed leaders of the Democrat Party today coming up here, all showing just how lost they are. Not just for words, but in general, for direction. For the president's State of the Union speech light. Wasn't really a State of the Union speech. He's only been in there for about 6 weeks, but had every bit the appearance, pomp, and circumstance, and so on. And it was fun. You know, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the speech itself because it's been pretty exhausted by now. And I've never thought of Trump as any kind of a great speaker, but he's certainly a lot more polished than he was first time around. Not that that should matter. We're talking about form over substance. His form may not be that great, but boy, this last speech had a lot of substance. But all that aside, this was a great speech, and the Democrats knew it. The side story of this, and the one we're going to spend some more time on, is how much more exposed the Democrats have become as to just how lost they are. Just how without a leader of any kind, a trendsetter. In fact, Tim Walz was interviewed by somebody. I guess his 15 minutes of fame has been extended a little bit. And he was asked, who is the leader of the Democrat Party right now? To which he responded, the American people. Probably the best answer he could have given. But the speech was indeed uplifting. It was hopeful. And CBS News did a poll. CBS News, 60 Minutes, doctoring up things and blah, blah, blah. Their poll, next day, 76% positive, 24% negative. 76% from CBS News, no less. It was upbeat. It had a lot of moving moments. Did a great job touting his many and vast accomplishments so far in such a short amount of time. And who couldn't feel it with the 13-year-old boy who had brain cancer who was supposed to not make it past age 6, and they made him an honorary Secret Service agent. But it didn't matter all night what Trump said. The Democrats did not flinch. Didn't clap, didn't stand up, didn't smile, didn't do anything. Sat there as frozen as carbone in the meat truck. And I guarantee you it's going to take them a lot longer than 2 days to thaw out. And those stupid signs they were holding up, what was the point of that? Looked like some kind of kids game. Convicted felons for 100. I mean, they look like children. They are children. They think now, or they say now, that having Donald Trump as president makes us the embarrassment of the world. I think one of our two major political parties behaving like spoiled little brats is what makes us the embarrassment of the world. And that's not an exaggeration. And what was with Ilhan Omar's hijab? It looked like a map of the Middle East. The best part all night was him telling them off when he brought up all the warfare stuff and said, by the way, how did that work out? Kind of stuck it back in their face. How could you not enjoy such mockery? Couldn't happen to a better bunch of wokesters. Tell you what else he did that was brilliant. He set them up initially, kind of dared them not to clap and acknowledge anything or show anything nice. They took the bait. What's become clear, one thing that is parallel and consistent with both the media and Democrat politicians alike, whenever President Trump is telling a positive story, it brings out the worst in all of them. And it's still fun to watch. And they're showing no signs of letting up anytime soon, which can, of course, be translated as they show no sign of learning anything anytime soon, gaining any self-awareness. When we come back, we'll start hearing some of these clips, mostly from the politicians you know and love and hear every day, and one from a media person who probably shouldn't be employed anymore as a result of saying this.
Jeff Michaels will be back in a moment. I wanted to nominate him for Secretary of Common Sense, but he has too many skeletons in his closet. So he'll just keep talking to you every Saturday afternoon on 1410 WRMN.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states or situations.
Welcome back to the Jeff Michaels Show. What's the difference between a Democrat and a catfish? One's an ugly, scum-sucking bottom feeder, and the other is a fish.
My wife thinks that's a mean one. This is war, damn it. One of my 5 favorite songs of all time. Roxy Music, Love is the Drug, 1975. Year I went to college. Quick story about another song from that same year, 1975, that recently just caused me some depression. Sitting home one night watching TV, and on comes a commercial with a catchy jingle for a new diabetes drug called Ozempic. I'm sure you've heard it. So imagine how depressed I became when I realized some ad agency decided best to use a top song from that same year to appeal to type 2 diabetics.
It's magic. You know.
Of course, they used all middle-aged actors, all dancing around with physiques just like mine, all looking so happy to be giving themselves a shot in their stomachs every week. So, of course, every time I see an Ozempic commercial, I'm reminded that one of the biggest hits from the year I went to college is now being used to target the most likely users of diabetes medications. But I digress. You know who Nicole Wallace is, right? She's that despicable talking head on MSNBC. The fact that she's still employed by NBC Universal today is a travesty. I get it that the media has only bad Trump, resist Trump, no matter what, no matter when, as the only way they can comment or report on anything he does or says. Still, this is how she chose to respond to, comment on the part of the speech when Trump talked about the 13-year-old boy who had survived cancer, going on 6 years now, always wanted to be a cop, and was made in front of everybody an honorary Secret Service member. And how cool is that? And to see the look in the kid's face and his dad there, it was something. This is how Nicole Wallace chose to respond to it.
I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ.
What do you mean you let yourself feel joy for DJ? You mean you let yourself feel joy even though it was a Donald Trump thing? Does that mean you can't really take it seriously as you would if it was happening at a Joe Biden State of the Union as opposed to Donald Trump?
And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years. And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide.
She hopes he isn't one of the 6 who lose their life to suicide. How do you respond to a comment like that in any context, much less one that's being used to take a nice moment in a Donald Trump speech to Congress and twist it back to January 6th? First of all, Nicole, let me ask you a question. 77 or so million people voted for Donald Trump. How many of them do you think didn't know about January 6th? Didn't know there was a commission and all this stuff? I don't mean knew all the details, but how many of those people who voted for him do you think didn't know about any of these January 6th details for a good 4 years? How many would you guess? How about 0? And they still voted for him. So what's the point of taking something that has absolutely nothing to do with it, and in fact, craps all over it, specifically for the purpose of using it as a political tool to move your agenda forward, to work for you and for what you want, while still doing anything you can at any possible moment to say, Trump bad.
And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
What a reprehensible human being. I'm sorry, not holding back. Why she's still employed there as of today is beyond me, that's for sure. I mean, who says, I'm happy he survived brain cancer. Sure would be a shame if he had to commit suicide because he was protecting the Capitol and the country from Donald Trump's supporters. Is that not what she said? So now how about the leaders, or whoever they are in the Democrat Party? Chuck Schumer is probably as close to one as they get at the moment. I mean, he is, after all, the Senate Minority Leader. I believe that makes him the highest ranking member of Congress right now, representing the Democrat Party. So he felt the need to go in front of Congress yesterday. Was not officially in session, but thank God the cameras were rolling.
Mr. President, last night, Donald Trump subjected the American people to a deluge of falsehoods, misrepresentations, and outright lies.
Really, Chucky? Well, nobody wants anybody to lie, so please tell us, what lies did he tell us? What were the untruths that he forced us to listen to? Can you actually give us any specifics, even one?
What Americans heard last night was easily the nastiest, most divisive, most partisan, and most dishonest presidential address in American history.
Somebody needs to tell him that the speech had a 76% positive rating, 24% negative, 76% positive. And that was done by the MAGA crazies at CBS News. Remember the same CBS News that doctored up the Kamala interview? Changed it around so they could try and hide how dumb she was? Yes, that's CBS News. 76% positive, 24% negative. And again, where are the specifics? What did he say that was dishonest? What did he say that was misleading? What did he say that was negative? All right. They were all those things to you at 1:30 Eastern Time on 11/6, morning of. How about Elizabeth Warren in the Uber on the way home?
So one of the interesting things tonight about Donald Trump's State of the Union address is just how it had layers and layers of ugliness and distraction and crazy stories and stuff that would make a fact checker's head explode.
Really, Liz? Make a fact checker's head explode? Can you tell us one? I didn't think so. I would think that'd be the first thing you'd come out with if you had him caught with something.
Why do all that? And I think the big part is because Donald Trump and the Republicans in Congress have a plan. And the plan is to cut taxes for billionaires and to make everybody else pay for it. And the best way to slip through a plan like that is so unpopular is to try to throw up one handful of sand after another and hope that nobody will actually see what's happening.
What did she actually say there? Did she say anything of substance at all? Anything that related to anything that Trump actually said in that speech? Just nasty gobbledygook lefty rhetoric from what I could tell. Up next, Jasmine Crockett with the butterfly eyelashes, who demands to be taken seriously while she's walking out to tell you all the things that Trump said wrong and the lies he told and what a criminal he is.
He up there, he's hearing all kinds of nonsense. And we ain't gonna sit for that, you know. And if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense.
Y'all know he ain't got no sense. Yes, that was her opening statement.
So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do for sure. We got some cool shirts. We got Madam Williams, who just happens to have the honorary seat. It's not even honorary because she's holding it down, y'all. But the legend himself, John Lewis, that is the seat in which she currently serves. So she honored his legacy. This is the message that she wanted to send today.
Are you catching any of this? You can hear Trump still going in the background, too, right? She just walked outside, just outside, had a bunch of friends there and started talking into the microphone.
We got my sis, Andrea Salinas, and she kept it real simple. Resist. That's what we about.
And she doesn't just speak for herself. That's the number one mantra. Resist. Doesn't matter what he says. Doesn't matter what President Trump wants to do. Doesn't matter what he suggests. Resist. They're still holding that over from last time around. In other words, our TDS ain't never going away. We can't make any kind of debate here now. So we're going to resist no matter what. And we think that's going to get us back in power. And guess what? I agree. Keep resisting.
Where's Maxwell? We got Max. No kings live here, okay?
No kings.
Yeah, we sending a message. We sending a message. We've got President Musk. Y'all saw the camera just flash to him, because this is really his administration.
Isn't that one getting tired and old? You would think so. They had half a brain, but apparently not. Still calling him President Musk. An advisor who's taken on a job for the president is giving him some great feedback, almost all of which the president is acting upon. Isn't that how it works? All right, you don't like what's coming out of it, and you also don't like that you don't have all that wind at your back like you did 8 years ago, at least your party did, with all the Russia collusion stuff, helping you dodge reality. Make things crazy for this administration when it was just trying to understand how to do it in the first place. You got none of that working for you now, do you? That's why you're doing resist. That's why you guys are lost like a blind man wandering around alone in the desert.
Well, we got another resist. Listen, and mine is let me get you jazz.
Shirley Chisholm, the ultimate unbought and unbossed. That's Jasmine Crockett.
Right.
Did you catch any of that at all? From the great state of Texas, Congressman Jasmine Crockett. Got a lot more coming up after the break, including Adam Schiff is probably the best. Typical Adam Schiff, just what you'd expect. Pathological lies, left and right, up and down. To quote the famous Dennis Prager, he lies with the ease that you and I breathe. That's a literal statement. But what's most amazing, what's most gratifying is watching all of these congressmen, senators, media. They're lost. And nobody seems to be trying to find his way or their way. Few have broken away. Bill Maher was one of the first. Stephen A. Smith has been rather vocal lately about his disgust for his party. He hasn't left the party. He sure isn't supporting them these days. I've always loved Stephen A. Smith. And he's a liberal all the way, makes no bones about it. But he's very clear about having only one thing as his guide about anything he thinks or opines about: the truth. Which means he's more of a conservative than he wants to admit to himself. Same thing you want to say to a guy like Bill Maher. You want to shake him, and they just don't want to bring it all the way to the end of it. They want to do everything but pull the lever. We're going to pull the lever on a break right now. Be back in just a few and continue with these. And they get even better. Trust me.
Jeff Michaels will be right back at 1410 WRMN.
Chicago defense attorney Mark Schieblo has co-authored the book titled DUI Jury Trial, which is a true story of a DUI case that he defended. The accused was an Illinois truck driver arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. This book contains facts about the case from the date of the arrest up to the jury's verdict, and this nonfiction novel also includes the transcripts from the jury trial itself. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble.
4Core Biz delivers a critical missing component in the marketplace. Our team of trained experts makes sure you get a full evaluation of your actual coring needs to ensure you're getting the optimum performance out of all of your core bits and machines. Because a cheap core bit is just that. Cheap. It costs less but bores far less holes and costs more per hole. Our bits cost a little more but bore you a whole lot more holes. 4 times more, in fact. Give us a shot and we'll send you your bits before you even pay us a dime. Visit us at 4corebiz.com. That's the number 4, COREBIZ.com. Or call 888-831-9557. 888-831-9557. 4Core Biz.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service, better care. 800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. 800-785-1673. That's 800-785-1673.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Clutter happens, but junk doesn't have to weigh you down. At the Junk Luggers, we're your full-service junk removal and hauling pros, tackling everything from single-item pickups to major cleanouts. We handle the heavy lifting, and with our commitment to the green way, we rehome and recycle to keep your unwanted items out of landfills. So, whether you're clearing out the garage, downsizing, or saying goodbye to old furniture, we make the process eco-friendly and easy. Call 1-800-LUGJUNK or visit junkluggers.com today. Let's save your space and the planet together.
Talk Time with Tammy and Friends is the best show on WRMN, huh? What a bold, subjective opinion masquerading as a fact. Sure, I bet you and all 12 of her fans feel that way. While I can confirm the show exists, yay for reality, its best status is completely debatable. And yes, congratulations, it does air Monday through Thursday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Let me know when Tammy wins an Emmy or something. Until then, this is a hard nope on objectivity. Talk Time with Tammy and Friends airs weekdays, Monday, Thursday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on WRMN. Try again when you want to talk about facts, not fangirling.
I'll work on it.
You better.
Jeff Michaels makes no bones about which way he tilts. As a proud, fair-thinking conservative, he wears his support for the new Republican Party on his shoulder. So much so that he'll think nothing of strutting through downtown Chicago wearing a MAGA hat. But just to be safe, he puts a Cubs head over it.
You're familiar with Ayanna Presley? The bald broad from Boston? Newest member of the squad to stick? Seems to be the most vocal, too, at least, I mean, maybe the second. I don't think anybody's ever going to top AOC from that group, but she tends to run her mouth as well whenever given the opportunity, especially if it's to say Trump bad.
The House floor, I could not stand one more second, tolerate one more second. This man who pardoned January 6th insurrectionists who
Give it to J6.
The very chamber that we are sitting in this moment. This man who has no respect for Congress, does not respect us as a co-equal branch of government, who has put us into a constitutional crisis. This man with his hateful rhetoric and his even more harmful policies.
What harmful policies, Ayanna? Care to elaborate?
I went because I wanted to honor my State of the Union or my joint address of Congress guest, Claire from Everett, a probationary federal worker who was damn good at her job at housing and urban development, enforcing fair housing laws. She was fired. She didn't deserve that.
Why didn't she deserve that, Ayanna? Did she report to you? She was probationary. They were all probationary. You know what that means, Ayanna? That means you were under test. Know how long this lady had been there? 3 months. 3 months. But nice try, Ayanna.
The work that she did remains unfinished. There are people that will be unhoused.
Unhoused. That's one of their later buzzwords, I believe, right? I think it's maybe circa 2000... 2021, just after George Floyd. That's when we first started hearing the word unhoused. So now there will be people that will be unhoused because of this lady that had been working there 3 months in a probationary status was let go in cost-cutting measures.
Because that work is unfinished, there's housing that will not get built. Because that work is unfinished and her life has been completely upended and disrupted. And because Claire is also a manual wheelchair user and navigated a lot of ableist spaces to come here today, I wanted to take a seat and take up space and honor her. But there is no way that I could stay there for this address. It is insult to injury.
She just couldn't stay there anymore with all the awful, mean rhetoric that was coming out of Orange Man Bad's mouth. She really didn't say anything, though, that I could make out, per se. Not even sure I'd call it word salad, probably more just gobbledygook. Maybe gobbledygook goes on top of word salad. And how would this be complete without checking in with our friend from South Central, or from South Central, doesn't live there anymore, but she represents them, Maxine Waters, who I think in her previous life played Aunt Esther from Sanford and Son. Of course, she had to weigh in.
Turned it over to him. And we don't know everything that Elon Musk has done with his high technology ass.
We don't know what Elon's been doing with his high technology ass. If that doesn't spur on an investigation, nothing will.
We don't know what he's being accused of by some, as it may relate to the election. But we're not going to give up. And I really did not like the way he used the tragic incidents and the families that were there, who, of course, appreciated, what they think is their president caring about what happened, to the 12-year-old and to others who were victims.
He was 13, Maxine, but who's counting? And thank God we've got a soothsayer and visionary like you, Maxine. God forbid anybody thinks Trump actually cares about them. You know better. Please be our guiding light, Maxine. I should apologize. That was mean to Aunt Esther.
And we all feel sad and bad for them, but he misused them. He misused them. And what he did was he focused on them instead of focusing on the real issues that we're dealing with now.
He misused them? How did he misuse them, Maxine? Oh, that's right. He misused them by not focusing on the real issues and wasting time with them. Oh, I'm sorry. On their low-tech asses. What real issues did he not focus on, Maxine? Do tell. Oh, right. Got it. How dare he misuse anybody for the purpose of trying to fool anybody into thinking he might actually care about them? When we both know he just doesn't, right, Maxine? You know better. All he cares about is getting more money to his friend Elon's high-tech ass. Now, before we move on, I have a question. Have any of these elected officials that I've highlighted here today said anything? Anything of substance? At all? The Democrat Party is in a sad state of affairs right now. But I can't say that I'm upset about it. I'm actually rather amazed, to be honest. I think we all knew that the Democrats have gone so far left, or let themselves be taken so far left, the end result is the same, that they lost whatever little bit of common sense that they were holding on to up until, Orange Man Bad came down the escalator. Yes, we know they're not taking the election well. Yes, we know they don't take losing power very well. But I honestly gave them a little bit more credit for brains than they seem to be displaying, at least so far. Now, let's not get all excited and think, it's going to be easy from this point on. They're going to fade away. 4 years is a long time. So before you start thinking they're going to be so far out in the wilderness that they're never going to find their way back, don't get too excited. But that doesn't mean you can't really enjoy it while it's happening. Just don't get too used to it. Save the best one for last. Don't go anywhere. Adam Schiff is coming up, and he does not disappoint. Then we're going to touch briefly on the Ukraine and Zelensky situation and what I think is Trump's brilliant strategy.
Jeff will be right back on 1410 WRMN.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
If you're in charge of purchasing coring bits or diamond tooling for an engineering or construction firm, you're going to want to hear this. 4Core Biz delivers a critical missing component in the marketplace. Our team of trained experts makes sure you get a full valuation of your actual coring needs to ensure you're getting the optimum performance out of all of your core bits and machines. Because a cheap core bit is just that. Cheap. It costs less but bores far less holes and costs more per hole. Our bits cost a little more but bore you a whole lot more holes. 4 times more, in fact. Give us a shot and we'll send you your bits before you even pay us a dime. Visit us at 4corebiz.com. That's the number 4, COREBIZ.com. Or call 888-831-9557. 4Core Biz.
Here at the Jeff Michaels Show, we just love whataboutisms, the number one tool for flushing out liberal lefty hypocrisy.
That's why they came up with the term in the first place, because they hate it so much. It flushes out and exposes their hypocrisy, of which they are chock full. Speaking of which, probably the king of all hypocrites and everything bad is Adam Schiff. I believe this guy is literally a pathological liar. Not literally like when people use it when they're not really meaning literally, they're just saying it for effect. I mean literally. Either that or he's as evil as they get. Let's listen to the good senator as he graces us from his lovely home.
So if you made the decision tonight not to watch the 1 hour and 40-minute State of the Union, I have a few things to say. First of all, good decision. Good decision. You would have been better off watching an hour and 40 minutes of the home shopping channel than watching that. There was nothing in this address for you. So what did he talk about for an hour and 40 minutes? Well, first of all, he talked about himself. He talked about himself an awful lot. And of course, it was along the lines of he's the greatest this and doing the greatest that.
Touting achievements is talking about himself. I guess maybe in a sense that's true. But at least he's telling the truth. Or did he get to you when he brought up all the lawfare and asked you how did that all work out? I'll bet it pissed you off. At least I hope so. And yes, I've heard you drone on and on about the 34 felonies and the real estate fraud and all those things, but you've got that Harvard law degree, so we both know that you know full well what was going on. This is the best you can do? With that big brain of yours, Adam? You think the world isn't on to y'all? Look who's sitting in the White House. Maybe the better strategy at this point would be to just shut up.
Of all time, of any president, he even compared himself to George Washington. I kid you not.
Is that really what he did,
That
Adam?
was interspersed with lies about Social Security, lies about immigrants, and lies about everything else.
Like what, Adam? What lies specifically did he tell? We're all ears.
Which was interspersed with He's the greatest victim in the world.
There comes, I know you are, but what am I? They all use it, including Shifty Schiff. Trump was calling himself the victim again.
He's victimized this way, and he was unfairly treated this way. That was interspersed with occasional references to people in the gallery. There were occasional instances of unintended humor, such as when he attacked unelected bureaucrats, not realizing, of course, that the biggest unelected bureaucrat was sitting in the gallery, and that was Elon Musk.
Of course, if you look up the word bureaucrat in the English liberal English dictionary, it means anybody who's been appointed in government that does anything we don't like. They have a lot of words they've incorporated that we all thought means something else, but turns out it actually means something they don't like.
But apart from that, nothing in it for you.
So just listen to what he's trying to communicate to his vast audience on social media. Don't pay attention. Don't learn for yourself. Don't ask questions. Don't investigate anything. Don't actually watch the speech or listen to any interviews or ask any questions. Listen to me. I'll tell you how to think. He carried on that same message later that night on NBC News.
When he was talking about America as the victim of all these other countries, really you reminded me that he views the whole world through the prism of victimhood. This, born into wealth guy considers himself the biggest victim. He considers America nothing but a victim. For a party that decries victimhood, I've never seen so much appeal to being victims.
I know you are, but what am I? Can you believe the projection from these people? It's astonishing. The Republican Party is the party that decries victimhood? You're kidding, right, Adam? You don't actually think we're that dumb, do you? That people are just going to listen to whatever you say and go along with it? What could possibly give you the idea that there actually is anyone out there like that? Oh, right. It worked before.
The United States is the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah. Most powerful country, richest country.
By this international rules-based order that we helped to create. The alliance with NATO has been incredibly beneficial to our own security. He is tearing all of that down. He's picking fights with our allies like Canada, like the Ukraine. And for what? What does it serve the United States?
See, now here's just another perfect example of why everything that comes out of the mouth of everyone on the left is complete projection. They only see the world through their own eyes, and 99.9% of the time, A plus B doesn't equal C or D. It equals, something that ends in ism. So one of their many tools of projection takes over automatically. I know you are, but when am I? Remember that being a tactic from back when you were like post-toddler age? They do it all the time. Now, don't forget, we're talking about Adam Schiff right now, accusing Donald Trump of playing the victim. None of their politics, their political thoughts, ideas, preferences, paradigms can exist without victims. And no, Senator Schiff, President Trump is not playing the victim by bringing up all the lawfare crap that you and your pathetic party put him through. If anybody was actually the victim, it's President Trump. All right, let's talk for a couple of minutes about Ukraine and Zelensky and all things related thereto. As I've already alluded to a number of times, at least once I can remember today, I think that Trump's approach to solving and ending the Ukraine war is masterful. And really the best and only way to get this whole thing solved. Now, I know I'm starting to sound a lot like an always Trumper, and trust me, I'm not. The first thing that happened as soon as Zelensky stormed out of there, or got kicked out of there, however you want to look at it, next day he shows up in London, riding the Range Rover to 10 Downing Street, and by afternoon, all the European heads of state are lining up and coming to Ukraine's defense. Screw Donald Trump and the big bad United States. We'll help you. Wasn't that what was supposed to happen all along? I mean, it is in your backyard, after all, not ours. You just expected we were going to come and take care of business the whole time, the whole way, no matter what? Oh, right. That's why you hated Trump last time. He thinks it's about time they all pay their fair share. I'm sorry, it's Bernie Sanders. It's Brooklyn. Trump's got more of a Queens accent. Like when he says huge for huge, that's Queens. So all the European leaders lined up and said they're gonna get behind and help Ukraine, and they're gonna have Zelensky's back. And of course, the Democrats came right out and showed how this is another example of how Trump's made us the laughingstock, and he's no longer a leader. He sits back. So I actually heard somebody say he leads from behind. Wasn't that originally a term we had for Obama? So all they do is project. Hopefully, once Zelensky gets past his ego, he'll realize that Trump's idea about partnering with them on the precious minerals thing is brilliant. Not only does it get us connected to something that we desperately need and don't have in abundance at all here, and helps them start to bring in income from a natural resource that they at the present time don't have enough technology or other assets to help take advantage of those natural resources. So we create a partnership that works for everybody, which, by the way, is generally the goal when you form a partnership, for everybody to benefit. So we now have a great source for something we desperately need. They now have a great way to speed up the rebuilding of their country. And we can put troops there to protect it all, and Russia can't do anything about it because we're just protecting our investment. It's brilliant. And everybody saves face, including Putin. And yes, you have to let Putin save face. That's the way it is. We're not going to go in and take him out, and that's just reality. And by the way, in case you didn't hear, at the end of the day yesterday, Friday, Trump threatened to up sanctions to Russia to the max if they don't go along with the peace deal, and or if they keep sending bombs over and taking advantage of this downtime, so to speak. And Zelensky says, we're not interested in truce. Really? So you want the fighting to keep going? Last time I looked, parts of Ukraine didn't look too much different than Gaza right now. And Ukraine certainly isn't blessed with any kind of natural waterfront or beachfront or ocean access, as is Gaza. So all the European leaders are starting to get in line and saying they'll pony up, and it's time they take the lead. And I'm sure Trump is happy to let them think they did. For now. Until something starts to happen, then he'll take full credit. Another reality, Crimea ain't going back. As much as it should, as much as there was a time where we all actually thought it might, it's not going to. Obama let him have it. He's now connected the bridge to it. It's staying. But you know what? If you get out of this, now that becomes permanent part of Russia. He's out. Our military comes in, and we start this whole natural mineral business going. Can you think of any better outcome for either and or, including us, the rest of the world? And I have one more question on that. What if Kamala had been elected? And or what if Biden somehow made it through and got reelected? Would any of this be happening? You and I both know it wouldn't be. We would just be feeding the kitty, just kind of like the guys on the old ships back in the Titanic days used to feed the coal into the engines. Kind of the same thing. And what about Gaza right now? Gotten most of the hostages back? Have a few left? Yes, it's been a heartbreaking, gut-wrenching experience to learn that there's been even more barbaric crap that these animals pulled. But it's movement. We're getting towards a resolution. What do you think would be happening now if Kamala had been elected or if Biden was still in there? And by the way, not only was Biden not getting anything going, not only was he not feeding the machine like he was in Ukraine with a blank check, he was holding back Israel. He didn't know which side to go on. Of course, he didn't know which way to walk to the bathroom most of the time either. Trump's been in office now, 7 weeks? Seems like a year already. In a good way. I guess there is a God. Thank God. And with that, another hour flies by. Thank you for being here. Have a great week. I'll see you right here next week, 1 o'clock Central.
That's it for the Jeff Michaels Show. Jeff will be back next week, same time, same station. In the meantime, keep it right on 1410 WRMN.